Praise to the Lord of the universe for giving us one of the greatest narrators of humanity, Luke, the beloved physician. Look at the detail. The Lord, in this very quaint part of the Gospel, is presented as being actually, in human terms, a fantastic actor. He comes along, accidentally joins them on the road, and starts to question them. And they look at him, amazed that he hasn't a clue. What things? And they have to tell him all that's gone on. He lets them teach him. And then only, he comes out with the unexpected. Fools, slow of heart. And he gives them a teaching about the meaning of the Old Testament to us, the scriptures unto them, all that they have. And he, by the way, authenticates it by that very fact. Oh, that we had the actual references that he gave, chapter and verse each time. We don't, but in Lectio Divina we can do it ourselves if we read the scriptures attentively, because the Lord recognized himself in those sacred pages. I was moved some years ago in a place of prayer near Tiberias. I happened to walk in and go into prayer mode in this little Hebrew sanctuary, and picked up what was next to me and went into the Psalms. It was in Hebrew, of course, but I thought, as I read one of the Psalms quietly with those same characters, this the Lord himself did, and in doing so he could see the words that spoke of himself. This was also his prayer book, his hymn book. I am using the hymn book of my Saviour, and the hymn book speaks of him. We still have it in whatever language we celebrate divine praise each day. It goes on. Still, they haven't a clue. And then the actor pulls another one off. He's about to go on. He lets himself be persuaded. And unexpectedly, he takes over a presidential role. He blesses God, that is the blessing also of the table. It's what we have now in the present Mass of the offertory. The Lord of the universe is blessed, holding up what we are blessing him for. We look up, and by so doing, the object is blessed and set apart. He does that. He then also does something which is just a bit too much. He breaks the bread, and suddenly goosebumples come from somewhere. Ah! And he disappears. In German, one talks about the Aha-Erlebnis, the aha moment, the aha experience. It's the goose pimple moment. Recognition. They recognized him. But he was, by then, in resurrection mode, happy to go in and out, not too easy to pin down. He does insist on his humanity still there, but glorified, which is able to eat and which they're able to touch. But he's keen also on raising their eyes upwards and not to cling to just his humanity. Now he lets himself be sought. And then the reaction even though they're tired after the long walk, they have to go back. And they talk to each other. One of the most beautiful verses in the Bible. Did not our hearts burn within us as he opened unto us the scriptures? So we can see them probably hurrying back. They were out of breath when they got to wherever the others were assembled. Possibly the upper room itself. And then we have this other one. It is true. The Lord has truly risen and has appeared. Now here we are to Simon. That's the head of the band. They still use the word Simon, which is interesting. That indicates we have a primitive transmission of the very words. Now that's just the style of Luke. He starts with the minimum and then he goes bit by bit to the maximum. We need the goose pimples. We get too used to glory and divine explosions. The Eucharist is also an aha experience. We touch God. We notice also that they didn't recognize him. St. Augustine has this one-liner, Timeo Dominum transeuntem. I fear the Lord passing, that is, I won't grasp him. He's passing now, and we don't grasp him. He's passing in his grace, which may not come a second time, and we have not grasped it or clasped it. That can happen concretely today. There are people that might come who actually seem to be second class, not much human value. And there they are, we can't see further. I just had today with me just ordinary travellers wanting the sacraments and the blessing. One can have the preconceived idea and notion, and then what happens? Something comes out of the blue. Just an example. An ordinary person comes out just before he's going with wanting a question. Hitherto I've been fasting all day every Friday until midnight for an intention. Makes me unwell. Would it be alright if I bring it back to 9 o'clock in the evening? And I thought, that is interesting. We could have missed that grace by prejudging that human being as category B. Another person I knew, she was a doctor, and she was kind, and she saw a man needing a lift. She invited him into her car, and when he turned round, because she was a doctor, she knew what it meant, she saw that the whole of his other side of the face was completely necrotic, cancerous, and he was not probably going to live very long. But then, after putting him down, much later at his destination, a miracle happened. She got back into her car, and the car was filled with a heavenly odour of roses and incense. The Lord was saying, that was me. Questo Vangelo è l'opera di un gran narratore, San Luca. L'occhio per il dettaglio. Questo straniero che viene per caso giungersi a questo gruppo, queste due persone proprio in depressione. Di cosa stai parlando? Oh? Sei tu l'unico a sapere queste cose? Che cose? E poi loro danno i dettagli, ascolta lui, sapendo niente, e poi dice stolti, tardi, di cuore. Comincia a dare un'istruzione. parlando del fatto che il Vecchio Testamento parla di se stesso, di Lui, senza dire che fosse Lui. E ancora non capiscono. E di nuovo questo attore brillante fa come se dovesse andare più lontano e si fa costringere. Ancora non capiscono niente. E poi prende un ruolo presidenziale. Fa qualcosa, benedice in modo giudaico, come facciamo noi adesso all'offertorio, guardando verso il cielo, benedicendo il Signore dell'universo, e così l'oggetto su cui benedizione è anche benedetto e messo a parte. Lo fa con dignità, guardando verso il Padre, e poi spezza il pane. E subito, allora, si capisce tutto. Però intuivano forse qualcosa senza sapere che fosse, perché abbiamo questa parola molto bella. Non ardevano i nostri cuori, forse dentro di noi, quando Lui ci apriva le scritture. Noi possiamo anche fare questa esperienza, e anche questa lezione divina in cui si vede il Signore anche nel Vecchio Testamento, i Salmi, per esempio, che parlano di Lui, che Lui anche ha cantato. E poi queste belle anime stanche non possono riposarsi, devono correre forse verso Gerusalemme, e arrivano e hanno questa esplosione. È vero, il Signore è davvero risorto, è apparso non più alle donne ma a Simone, non Pietro, Simone, e ancora siamo vicino alla fonte. Usavano ancora il vecchio nome. E poi, pian piano, stanno continuando questa linea di rivelazioni progressive, finché il Signore stesso comincia a parlare. Delle volte noi possiamo anche noi non riconoscere il Signore. Sant'Agostino dice timio dominum transiuntem. Si può per esempio avere una tendenza a pensare che certe persone sono in categoria B, invece delle volte ci sono belle sorprese. Oggi anche è stata una cosa interessante quando uno di queste persone itineranti partiva, diceva: ho un'ultima domanda prima di partire. Io di solito faccio digiuno totale ogni venerdì fino a mezzanotte per la mia moglie, ma mi fa tanto male di salute, posso fare soltanto solo fino alle 9 di sera. E mi sono detto, questa è anche una bella sorpresa. Gesù si nasconde su esteriori così umili, normali, ufficialmente categoria B. Ci sono delle sorprese in cielo. Una volta sto parlando con una dottoressa in Italia, un ospite nostro, e lei diceva questo per caso in conversazione. Ho visto un uomo povero sulla strada e vedeva subito che aveva bisogno di un passaggio in macchina, nessuno voleva prenderlo, l'ha preso, e quando lui si è girato verso di lei ha visto che un lato del suo volto era tutto necrotico, era cancroso, pelle del tutto malandato. L'ho preso lo stesso e dopo un lungo viaggio l'ha posto al suo posto, e tornando in casa, in macchina, ha sentito una cosa molto strana. La macchina era del tutto riempita di profumo, di incenso e di rose celeste. era Gesù sotto una forma malandata, facile a mettere a caso. Anni fa, nella Certosa, meditando su questo bellissimo Vangelo, ho composto queste parole, questo inno. Il mio padre spirituale benedentino ha aggiunto una melodia. Questo svelamento è il momento per riconoscere i brividi.
Resta con noi, Signore. Alleluia. Tu sei il Figlio di Dio vivente. Tu sei l'amore dei nostri cuori.